Hi, I've created today's yoga class with a yin structure in mind. And what yin means is we're holding the poses a bit longer. We're allowing ourselves to see what happens when we sit in a pose and we let go and we allow our muscles to start releasing. And it has to do with the releasing of the fascia around our muscles. So we're going to sit with some poses and we're going to see what happens in our body when we hold them. This is going to focus on flexibility for shoulders and hamstrings. And I created it with my husband specifically in mind. This is his favorite type of yoga. And he's a biker and a runner. And so this is something that can help him with that. Also, for props, if you want to have a strap or a belt or a towel, something that can help you reach your foot, that comes in handy if you have any blocks or books you want to use that can help you and support you. You can also just have a towel or a blanket. I got one of my favorite blankets, so you can have that near you too, just to kind of help ease you into some of those poses because you're going to sit in them for a couple minutes. All right, go grab your stuff and I'll meet you on the mat. So first we're going to start in child's pose. That means on your knees, hips over your heels, forehead on the ground, arms reaching out long. And I want you just to stay there and take a couple deep breaths. Then just come into this moment, in this time, in this space. Allow yourself to feel the weight of your body melting into the ground. To feel your muscles begin to already settle in. Let's take a couple sighs out of our mouth. So inhale through your nose, sigh it out your mouth while your forehead is down there. Do it again. Inhale through your nose, sighing it out. One last time. Big inhale all the way down deep into your belly, feeling it on the tops of your thighs, and sighing it out. As your muscles start to release and relax, notice if there's any thoughts, ideas, baggage, concerns that you can also release and relax. Tell yourself it's okay. It can wait. You can come back to it. Now's your time. Walk your hands back up to your knees. We're going to go to hands and knees. We're going to go into a twist. So your wrists are under your shoulders, knees under your hips. Let's go ahead and you're going to take your left hand and you're going to thread it through, putting your left shoulder on the ground. And what I want you to do is keep your hips stacked over your knees. Go ahead and yin. It's nice to keep your eyes closed and stay into your body and see what's happening by just checking in on the inside. So what I want you to think about is if you've sat your hips back like this, I want you to bring them up. So they're right over. So you've got about a 90-degree angle from your ankle to your knee to your hip. And I want you to take a deep breath. And as you're staying in this pose, I want you to breathe into your left side ribs. You've got space that's stretching out. If that left arm is underneath you, breathing into that left side rib and imagine that those ribs are reaching away from that left hip and you're finding space there. Your left ear is heavy on the ground or the temple of your head. You can feel space along the side of your body and your back is stretching. Now you can take this right arm and you can crawl those fingers out in front of you and get a long stretch along the right side of your body from your fingertips all the way to your hip. As you stay there, with each exhale, imagine that your body and your muscles are getting longer as your tension starts to melt away with each exhale. Notice if you have the desire to come out of this pose. And then just Notice it and don't come out yet. Stay with it. Stay with the feelings and see what happens. Stay with that challenge. Don't back away from it. Don't run. Stay with it. Remind yourself that you can do hard things. And when we face a challenge, we get better. We stretch. We allow ourselves to grow. Walk that right hand back under your shoulder, slowly pressing into the ground, reaching your left arm out from underneath your body and twist, opening all the way up to the sky. Maybe make some circles with that left arm, getting that shoulder around. And then planting it back down, taking your right arm, threading that all the way under, placing your right shoulder on the ground. And then tiptoeing your left arm out long in front of you, just like you were on the other side. I'm going to show you, and then I'm going to come back so you can hear me. You're keeping these hips over your knees, and you're breathing into the right side of your body, into those right lungs, finding that space between your ribs and your hips, allowing that stretch to give you all that space and maybe a little more space for your air as you breathe in and exhale any tension and stress and gripping and holding on, allowing those muscles to find more space and length as you sit there in your pose. Focusing on your breath, noticing your thoughts without judgment. This is a really interesting part of doing yoga. Things are going to come up as we move through different parts of our body. Can we notice those things and not run away from them? Yes, we can. We can notice those things and not run away from them, but just be curious. We can notice those things and not judge them. Just simply notice without judgment, with curiosity, with interest, with intrigue. Isn't that interesting? When I do this, this is how I feel. And then breathe, fill your body with oxygen. Tell your body it's okay. You can do hard things. You can face challenges and grow and learn by not backing away. On an inhale, walk those left fingers back in underneath your shoulder, press into the ground, unwind your body, reaching your right arm for the sky, and then maybe making some big old circles. Oh, so good, so good. Sitting back onto your knees. Now, if you have a block, 2 blocks, sorry about that, you're gonna get them. If you're gonna use books, you can even do this without blocks. I'm gonna show you. You're gonna bring them right about here with a little space, a little bit of space between them, okay? You're gonna bring them right there. Now, you're gonna go like you're going back onto your hands and knees, but your hands are gonna go on the blocks. Then I want you to place one elbow at a time onto your block. If you don't have a block, first I'll show you with the blocks. You're gonna place your elbows, one elbow at a time on the block. You're gonna walk your knees back a little bit, okay? So they're gonna be a little bit behind you, but we're gonna sink back. Your palms are gonna come together, kind of like prayer hands, like they're just flat together. You're gonna start to sink back, sinking your forehead to the ground, similar to child's pose, but your hips are over your knees. So we're gonna get a big old stretch in our shoulders. Now, you might come here and be like, yep, that's enough. And guess what? That's fine, that's enough. If you have that blanket, you can always bring it in here and rest your head. Rest your head on the blanket. Or you can continue sinking all the way back until your forehead comes to the ground, and then you can bring your thumb in between your shoulder blades. So you've got options here. Don't turn your head like I'm doing. I'm just talking to you. You'll put your forehead and your nose to the ground. If you do not have blocks, that is fine. You are going to bring your elbows to the ground and you're going to pull back. Just like this, you're still going to get that shoulder and your head is going to go in between your elbows. I'm going to turn towards you so you can see a little bit. For those of you on your blocks, you just stay there and continue that breathing and releasing on the exhale. So your head is going to come in between your hands, and your forehead comes to the ground just like a child's pose. Staying there in this big shoulder stretch. Now every time you inhale, with your eyes closed, imagine that inhale going into your shoulders, soaking up all the tension on that inhale, purifying it or cleaning it out or sweeping out the cobwebs. And on the exhale, it just takes it out with it. Imagine that the inhale absorbs all the tension. And on the exhale, you release the tension and maybe you sink a little lower. Inhaling patience and peace and strength. Exhaling the I can't, I shouldn't, I should, all of that. And just being present with what is and being okay with it. That is the challenge. This is where yoga gets really interesting. We are holding a pose. We are not moving, but so much is happening in our bodies and our brains. It's kind of amazing. Now you have a chance to learn and stretch and grow, and you're literally stretching your muscles and your mind. Still breathing. If you want to back away, ask yourself, can I breathe in deeper and stay with it a little bit longer? And if at any point it gets sharp pain, pull out of it. Pull back. I don't want anybody to hurt themselves, but I want you to challenge yourself. So there's an edge between our farthest limit, our farthest place that we can go, and injuring ourselves, right? There's an edge. We're very cognizant of that as we go through these things. This is a gentle stretch that you can slowly sink into and find more space as you sit there. On an inhale, fill it all the way up, and then slowly, carefully press into your elbows, coming out of it. And then maybe give yourself a couple little arm rolls, rocking back onto your heels. Go ahead and move your blocks out of the way. And we are going to go into a downward facing dog. So we're tucking our toes under, pressing our hands into the ground, lifting your hips into a downward dog. We're just going to stay here a second. This isn't a pose we're going to hold very long. Just pedal it out. Just giving your hamstrings a little bit of attention before we move into a big hamstring stretch. On an inhale, you're going to walk your feet forward. You're going to give a lot of bend into your knees because we're going to hang out here. So bend into your knees. Place your belly on your thighs, right? That might look like this. To some people, depends on your hamstring flexibility. Some people are born with naturally flexible hamstrings. I am not one of those people. And you may or may not be. It doesn't matter. It's a no judgment zone. Just be aware and bend your knees if needed. Hang out. Hang out, let your head drop. Allow yourself on an inhale to feel the back stretch and release as your head is like a weight towards the ground. You can hold on to your elbows or you can just let your arms dangle. You can sway back and forth a little bit just as you get settled. And then I want you to find stillness with your eyes closed and your head down. So the blood is going to rush to your head, and that's okay. We're not going to live here. We're going to stay here just about a minute or two. But I want you to take your arms and I want you to reach them back to where your tailbone is and clasp your hands together. Your elbows can be bent. Now this might be plenty for you. We're going to add a shoulder stretch as we're here stretching our hamstrings. On an exhale, extend your arms if you can go for more. This might be plenty if you can go for more. On an exhale, allow your hands to start to sink towards the floor. Check in with your neck. turn it side to side. Shake it no, nod it yes. Check in with your jaw. On an inhale, fill up your whole back space with all that air. On an exhale, release a little bit more. Release any tension. Then gently, gently, carefully release your fingers back down to your lower back. Clasp your hands, place your hands on the ground, and kind of heel toe your feet out, turning your heels out, your toes out, a little bit to touch the edge of your mat, and you're gonna sink your hips down into a squat. Now, you may feel comfortable sitting just like this. You may wanna pop a blanket under there. That is a block, not a blanket. Y'all know I always mess up my words. A blanket, whatever you want. You can sit on it and find some comfort. Your feet are flat. Your spine is long. Your elbows are inside of your knees. You can press your palms together. You can make a fist and push into that. However you want. We're just going to give our hips a few moments of attention. Lift your heart towards your hands. Your head towards the sky. Your tailbone towards the ground. Imagine your spine getting longer as you inhale and your hips releasing any tension as you exhale. 2 more breaths. And then if you have anything underneath your sit bones, take it out and find a seated, we're gonna move into a seated forward fold. So I like to use a block on this. This is not, I'm not, like I said earlier, a naturally stretchy hamstring person. So I like to start with a little leverage. All right, and again, you can bend your knees just like we did when we were standing. So if you have a towel or a blanket or something cool, check it out. I'm gonna give my knees a little support so that I can just let them be and let them bend and let them relax. I'm gonna put a block in between my calves. That's where my head is gonna go. First, I'm gonna put my fingertips on the ground next to me, just my fingertips. I'm gonna roll my shoulders back, elbows come together, shoulder blades come together. Inhale my heart up, feel those sit bones, and exhale, I'm gonna start to fold forward from my hips first, then my belly to my thighs. I'm gonna start to walk out my hands towards my knees or my calves or my heels. Then I'm gonna fold and curve my spine and place my forehead on the block. You can also stack your fists if you have a blanket or pillows or books, whatever you want. Or you can use your elbows. Say you don't have a block. You can use your elbows. What I want you to do is find peace somewhere in this pose. Feel your heartbeat. You're alive. Feel the air go in and out of your lungs. And express gratitude for what your body is doing. Not judgment, gratitude for wherever you are right now. Keeping your eyes closed. Allowing the oxygen to come in and give you strength. Give you encouragement. Allowing the exhale to take out the tension, the stress, the worries, the baggage, the anxiety, the to-do lists, the shoulda, the coulda, the woulda. Just being and accepting non-judgmentally this moment with gratitude. That's mindfulness. That mindfulness is present moment, non-judgmental present moment awareness. In other words, I'm right here, right now, and I'm not judging how it is. If it's good or bad, it just is. It cultivates more joy in your life when you can do that. Who doesn't want that? Notice if you have thoughts coming up. Notice it. Be curious. Be interested. and then let them go. You can come back to it later. Remember that we are able to change when we are willing to explore our discomfort in something. When we run away from discomfort or something, we are less likely to make a change or learn anything new about ourselves or anyone else or anything else if we run from it. When we stick with it and stick with something that's uncomfortable, and we get curious and we get intrigued and we get interested and we explore it and learn more about it, we can grow and we can change for the better. We don't have to agree with it, but we can learn from it. On an inhale, walk your hands up. If you have something under your knees, take it out, bend your knees. Put the soles of your feet on the ground. Oh, yes. Put your hands behind your hips and let your knees just rock from side to side. You're gonna need a strap as we lie down. So go ahead and get it. If you have it, strap, belt, towel, whatever you chose to help you access your feet in this next portion. Just gonna move some of my stuff out of the way. All right. So go ahead and take your strap and you're gonna put it, you're gonna lie down on your back. You're gonna put it, let's bend our left foot, extend our right foot. Strap is around, I'm gonna show you like this, the ball of my foot, right? Okay. So, just, your knee may be bent. It doesn't even matter. What I want you to do is start walking your hands up your strap. Now, this is one option. Another option is extending this bottom leg. Another option is reaching for your toe, if that is accessible today. I want you to feel it in your hamstring. Whatever you're doing, this is the goal, right? This little stretch. You're gonna inhale and exhale, find space. You're gonna continue to inhale and exhale and just notice what happens as you sit here. Your shoulders are on the ground. If you find your spine rounded, allow yourself to relax. Your leg can come down a little bit further away from your body. If you have a strap, you can even bring your elbows all the way down to the ground. But I want your shoulders and your head on the ground. I don't want any tension in your neck or your jaw or your shoulders. You can even press your head into the ground and pull your shoulders away from your ears so your neck has more space. Stretching here. If you'd like to, you can take both sides of your strap into one hand and open your leg up out to the side if you want to. You'll feel a different stretch on the inside of your thigh than when your leg is above. You're feeling the back of your thigh and your back of your hamstring. Just notice it. One last big inhale, bend your knee, take your strap off, place the sole of your foot on the ground, lift your left leg, loop your strap around that left leg, and we're gonna go on this side. So whatever you did on the other side, on your right leg, I want you to do on this side, and just experience it, notice. Majority of people will have one side that's tighter than the other and one side more flexible, and that's totally normal. It's just interesting. We're just looking to be interested and curious about what's going on with our bodies, our thoughts, our breath. If you opened it out to the side on the other side, go ahead and do that here too. If you kept it up, keep it up. Continuing to breathe, and on your exhale, seeing where you can let go. What spaces of your body might be still holding tension? What thoughts might you still be holding on to? What judgments? Where do you want to run? Where do you want to find tension? Where do you want to squeeze and not let go? Notice that. Then notice what happens when you stay with it. Just for a few more breaths. What happens? How do you change? How do you grow? How do you evolve? When you remind yourself that you can do hard things. And go ahead and bend your knee. Release the strap. Bend both knees. And just like we did when we were seated, let your knees rock side to side. We're going to go into a happy baby pose. So we're going to bring our feet up, knees are bent. We are going to reach for the outside of our feet, right? The outside. So you might have to lift up your hips, and your knees are coming towards your armpits. Happy baby, you know. Your spine is flat along the ground. If you don't reach the bottoms of your feet, you can reach your knees, your shins, whatever works. But I would like for your head and shoulders to be sinking towards the ground, and your lower spine, your lower back, your tailbone. Reminding yourself that it's okay to let go of the tension that you're holding on to let your muscles sink towards the ground, to let your mind let go of worry, let go of stress and anxiety, because you are strong enough, and change is possible, and change comes through sometimes difficult situations, challenging situations, but it is always an evolution, and it's always a learning process, and learning is always going to benefit us. Gently, carefully let go of your feet, hug your knees in, extend your right leg, put your right hand on your left knee and cross it over into a spinal twist. Keeping your left shoulder on the ground, letting your right knee sink to wherever it is. On an inhale, bringing that left knee back up, squeezing it in towards your chest, and then switching legs. Pulling your right knee in, taking your left hand
Drawing your right knee across, keeping your right shoulder on the ground. Letting your right knee sink to wherever it lands. Knowing that with each inhale and exhale, you will sink further into the twist. With each exhale, you'll let go. You'll find more space. Your muscles will just inherently let go. They will find more space. They will move deeper into the twist. And just notice how far you've come. How brave you've been to stick with a challenge and not run away. How much possibility there is when you can do that. Inhaling, pulling your right knee up towards your chest, giving it a hug, and extending it out, finding your Shavasana. Your head is down, your palms are up, fingers are curled naturally, toes can fall out to the side naturally, allowing your breath to just move in and out of you at its own pace, at its own depth, without judgment. Mindfully being in this moment in your body, noticing how it feels after inhaling and exhaling tension. Inhaling strength and support and love for yourself. Exhaling worry and stress. Change is very scary for some people. But change is a definite in life, right? Change is the equivalent of death and taxes. Things are going to change. The season's going to change. Our bodies are going to change. Our minds can even change. So when we lean into that discomfort and we don't run away and we remind ourselves that we can do hard things, we can embrace change and not fight change, because change will come. How we handle it is what's going to give us stress or joy. So embracing the change, not running away from it, leaning into that change, leaning into that discomfort, allowing the change, is going to give us a chance to view it as growth and learning and improving and expanding our bodies and our minds and our intelligence and our connection with each other and our understanding and our ability to forgive and our ability to love. So we can do hard things, and we can choose a perspective that allows us to remember that we are capable of doing hard things. We are strong, and we are not resistant to change, but we are welcoming change. Big deep breath in. Get a little movement in your fingers and your toes, and maybe stretch your arms high up over your head. Stretch your whole body like a morning stretch. Reach those fingers and toes far away from each other. Bring your knees into your chest. Give yourself a really big hug. Maybe rock side to side on your back. Roll over to your side and make a pillow with your arm, and stay curled up in a little ball for a second. Give yourself a hug because you deserve it. Keeping your eyes closed,
press your palms into the ground, come up to a seated pose. Place your hands flat on your heart so you can feel your heartbeat. Allow the corners of your mouth to curl up into a smile. Allow yourself to feel the possibility and positivity of change within you. Change for the better. Growth. Acceptance of exactly who you are and who you can become. It is going to give you and fill you with confidence and love for yourself, and love and confidence and understanding for other people. And I really don't think there is anything better than that right now. Sending love to everybody. Send love to yourself. Thank you so much for taking this class. I appreciate you very much. Peace out.